Baseball season is here at last, and the excitement continues all season long at DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Why wait until the end of the season to claim victory when you can win huge cash every day? Hurry to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code PARDON to play for free. You could win part of the $300 million in prizes being awarded this season. Enter PARDON for free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Michael Wilbon. It is National High Five Day, Tony. Is there anything in the world better than a good high five?
Tony Kornheiser, nothing except leaving you hanging. Did you like that? That was easy for me. That was like a Uranus joke.
And you know
easy and always funny.
And if I was watching this show and you did that, I'd click over to something.
But
I'd click over to Will and Grace.
Judge Judy? Is that on there?
Judge Judy, like her
Welcome
bank
to
account.
PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the NBA playoffs are set. The Ottawa Senators promised retaliation. And should professional tennis allow fans to yell and scream during points? But we begin today with Scott Brooks on the hot seat. There is a report in Yahoo that Oklahoma City management intends to review the partnership with their seventh-year coach before deciding whether to bring Brooks back for the last year of his contract. Brooks has made the playoffs 5 straight years before failing this year under an onslaught of injuries. So, Wilbon, does Scott Brooks deserve to be fired?
Tony, I don't think so at all.
Really?
I don't even think this should be up for discussion.
Really?
There's no controversy here. You know, you covered the NBA a long time. The easiest way you get controversy besides losing is to have your star players, one or more of them, turn on you. That is decidedly not the case. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook love and respect their coach. So there's no controversy here. What are you reviewing? They got hurt. They got hurt a lot. They could still be hurt. We don't know when Kevin Durant's going to be back out there. And if he is he going to be Kevin Durant for real?
Right.
Scott Brooks can't control any of that. What are you talking about?
I think you could fire Scott Brooks maybe for last year, maybe the year before, maybe some previous year if you felt his results weren't good enough, but not this year. Because here we go. Kevin Durant missed 55 games.
Yes.
Serge Ibaka missed 18 games. Russell Westbrook missed 15. So I haven't done the math, but it doesn't seem like there'd be many games when all three of them would be together.
No.
And I don't think you can hold Brooks accountable for that. There are names, though, being mentioned. All right? Adrian Wojnarowski says that it's possible that Billy Donovan would come over from Florida.
So what?
The Hartford Courant says
like
it's possible that Kevin Ollie would leave Connecticut because he played
with them. He was a back
with Kevin Durant.
Tony, all this sounds great. But when you got a situation where people work well together, like and respect one another, what are you going out there to find? Kevin Durant and Serge Ibaka have not been in the lineup down the stretch when Russell Westbrook is out there heroically, and Russell Westbrook is flawed in some ways. He's heroically played this season and down the stretch. Can I
take the wrong view here? Why would you go to this team when they're going to be a ghost town in 2 years?
You still think both guys are going to leave voluntarily?
Absolutely. I think that Durant will leave. I think that Westbrook would leave. The Harden is already out of the picture. I'm telling you, I think it's going to be a ghost town. And if you don't get a guarantee that they're going to stay, then you are Byron Scott in Cleveland. Then you're looking at a 20-win. Why would you do it?
That's a sad situation. That team was set to be in the finals this year.
You've always said they were going to stay. You think Durant's going to stay, right?
It took a rather stunning result to put OKC out of the playoffs in the first place. Anthony Davis and the Pelicans of New Orleans jumped all over the Spurs, built a 23-point lead, held on for dear life to win the game, and claim the 8th and final spot in the West. That outcome also produced a first-round series more worthy of a conference finals. Spurs, Clippers. Tony, if you had to pick a team to score an upset in these playoffs, East or West, who'd it be?
I'm going to just go through the East and say I don't really see any upsets. The only possible upset to me in the East, and I know you're going to hate to hear this, is Chicago losing to Milwaukee.
I agree.
And the reason I would say that is because Chicago's main players get hurt overnight.
And they're still hurt.
They fall out of bed and they're done.
That's right.
And so that can happen, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm going to go back on what I've said for a long time, that in the West, to me, it's a hockey playoff. It's not a basketball playoff. And anybody other than New Orleans, I don't think New Orleans can win. But from 1 to 7, I think anything could happen.
It's funny. I even think that Houston played so well.
They
James
can lose.
Harden and Kevin McHale has done a great job. They can lose to Dallas.
Yes.
They can. It's not a particularly great matchup for them. But the Spurs-Clippers series, there's no upset in the West other than 8 beating 1, and that ain't happening. New Orleans, a wonderful game last night, which was a playoff game for them. A single elimination NCAA-style playoff game.
Right.
Win and get in, lose, get out. And Anthony Davis was superlative. But, Tony, looking at the East, I agree with you. I don't see any upsets. And the upsets are not the way of the NBA.
Did you just say there's no upsets in the West? Well, what if a team is seeded 6,
I don't care.
like San Antonio, and they beat the Clippers?
Don't talk analytics to me. You know that's not an upset.
This is not analytics. This is seeding.
You mean to tell me you think the Spurs, the 2-time finalists, defending champions, if they beat Doc and the Clippers, that's an upset?
I think, well, at this point, they're the 2 hottest teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
I believe
Each
the
one
Clippers
9
are
or 10.
14-1, and I believe the Spurs are
11-1.
11-1 to close the season. But if you fall in the important game, as they did last night, and you fall to 6, that's an upset. To me, it's also an upset if Memphis, which is seeded 5, right? Or
How is it an upset? What are you doing?
Yes,
Be
Portland.
reasonable. Who's the better team, Portland or Memphis?
You can't just sit here and say, I decreed that there are no upsets.
I did decree.
What are you, Oz, the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah. There's no upsets.
Really? All right, kids.
None.
Say goodbye to this rating. We're going to hockey. Last night,
Watch the hockey.
Subban, Montreal's #1 player, was flagged for slashing Ottawa's Mark Stone, their best scorer. Subban got a slashing major, so he's automatically tossed. After the game, the Ottawa coach, Dave Cameron, warned, and I quote, "You either suspend him or one of their best players gets slashed and just give us 5, unquote, meaning a 5-minute major." This morning, the NHL said Subban will face no further punishment, but now we hear from Ottawa that Stone has a microfracture in his wrist, and his availability for the rest of this series is unknown. Wilbon, where do you want to start with all this?
Dave Cameron postgame last night. As you know, I called you to tell you to watch more than just the Capitals.
Well, I watched
you
the
would
Capitals
not
and the
cooperate.
Wizards. Right.
These games were great last night. The Montreal game was also a great game, in addition to the controversy.
I don't get the NHL package.
Well, you should.
Sorry.
Dave Cameron just walks out and basically puts a bounty on a Montreal player for the next game. You know what? I don't blame him. Because Subban, who is a great player and a tough guy and an irritant, he did this intentionally. So if this guy, if Ottawa's player, has to miss time, Subban should be out. And I understand why they didn't suspend him for a longer period of time. Subban, by the way, says, I've been slashed harder than that, like every day. No, it's not good
enough.
enough.
Can I ask a series of factual questions? Did Stone go back and play in the game?
He played.
He played in the game.
But he might be out further games.
Well, Ottawa wants the league to believe that because they want to cajole a suspension for Subban. I think what that coach did is ridiculously inflammatory. He did put a bounty on the heads of a lot of Canadiens players.
Like all of
and
them.
If Gary Bettman is the commissioner, he's got to stand up and say, I have to ensure the integrity of this game. We can't have this. We can't.
I think you're right about that.
Certainly
you understand Dave Cameron's reaction.
Okay.
He just watched his guy, Subban, like he was,
but he went
chopping a tree.
His guy went back in the game.
They're tough.
Doesn't that matter?
If he misses time, Tony.
That's different. I'm inclined to believe that if you go right back in the game, then there's no further suspension.
Players always go back
but
in the game.
if he doesn't play for the rest of the series, then yes.
Then what? Then you can examine keeping Subban out.
Well, I think it has
investigation.
To be, as we used to say, a game-time decision. You got to see if the guy can play, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. Subban's Canadiens are my pick to win the East, Tony.
Good to know
for
that.
The record. My pick to win the West also won a dramatic game.
Let me guess who they are.
On the road, no less. The Blackhawks.
Stunner.
Spotted Nashville a 3-0 lead. Benched their Stanley Cup winning goaltender Corey Crawford. Then watched the Chicago kid, Scotty Darling, a rookie, stopped 42 shots and were turned into a magical 4-3 double overtime win about 1 in the morning. Barry Melrose and I immediately called for Darling to start game 2. Joel Quenneville, he hasn't listened. He's already announced he's going back to Corey Crawford. Who would you start?
First of all, let me say how happy I am that you and Barry Melrose got
immediately
together on that you called him in Glens Falls, and then you got
He's
the word.
He's in the studio.
He's
not in Glens Falls.
If I ran the Chicago team, I would go back to Corey Crawford. I would go to my #1 goalie, who I believed helped deliver a Stanley Cup 2 years ago. Now, is he the greatest goalie in the world? No.
But he's really good.
But he's a good goalie.
And
here's what I believe. That the other guy is a backup goalie, and he did exactly what a backup goalie ought to do. And until Corey Crawford has 2 games in a row that stink the joint out, and by the way, they won, then I would stay with my #1 goalie.
That all sounds fine.
But
except the 2 most important words in Stanley Cup play every year for 8 weeks are hot goaltender.
That's right.
You got a guy out there, Tony, who made, look, I've watched essentially every Blackhawks postseason game for 50 years.
Right.
This is up there with anything Tony Esposito ever did. Now, I might be getting carried away because I'm a Blackhawks fan. But this kid, he's 6'6". You know what? He's been around for 7 years, and he's still a rookie. He's trying to find his way. He's a local kid.
What does that tell you about the evaluation?
All I know is I saw him last night. Is he the hot goaltender?
Right.
The only way to find out is to put him back in there. Let him stay in there.
That could happen once, and then he could be no good. I think if
Yesterday, by the way, you were calling Melrose for advice.
That's
Today,
right.
you're turning up your thumb and your nose at Melrose.
Well, here's what I'm saying to you, that you have a starting goalie, and you know his demeanor. This is what they pay coaches to do, to know who they can depend on, to know what the chemistry is in that locker room, okay? So if a guy's a backup goalie and you go to him completely and you ruin the other guy.
You're stuck with the backup, and he better deliver for you. It's risky either way.
That's why after a win, I wouldn't do it.
Okay. All right.
Tennis is in a hole. Court time is available now 24 hours a day, and college tennis teams, they are vanishing all over the country. One solution? The Wall Street Journal reports the Big 12 Conference encourages fans to yell and scream during points. Scream your bloody heads off! Wilbon, do you like this?
Yes.
Do you want to see it on the Grand Slam circuit?
You know, I don't need to have other cultures intrude on something that's as tried and true as tennis. Tony, I understand tennis is in a difficult place right now.
But no American male players you can even name.
In this country, nobody's paying attention.
Right.
In other countries,
except at U.S. Open.
Right. We've seen this, though. This is not a new suggestion. World Team Tennis did this. Now, no, if you put it on the Grand Slam circuit, am I okay with it? I guess I'd be okay with it. But you know what? It's worked pretty well for the entire world. You mean to tell me just because we have no American men playing tennis that the entire sport should change just for us because we don't have anybody?
There are two sports where the protocol is that you're not supposed to say anything while it's going on. There's tennis and golf. These are individual sports, and we both understand that. We both played both sports, and we know how it works. But I will also tell you that one of the favorite American tennis players of all time, Jimmy Connors, would have been totally at home with people screaming and yelling all the time. And I'll tell you this also. I'm not quite sure about this for golf, though I think it's true. I'm 100% sure about it for tennis because of the movement in the sport, that if you told tennis players people were going to yell, it would take them 1 day to adjust. Now the only thing you hear is Maria Sharapova grunting so you can hear her on the moon. I don't think you have to have this. I think you can yell and scream. I do.
I think you can yell and scream. Again, I'd be okay with it. I'm not going to lead the charge to bring it, but I'm fine with it, Tony. Connors is an interesting study. And all the players who made tennis so incredibly popular in the 70s and 80s, McEnroe, he just screamed back at people in the stands.
That's right.
I think that interaction would be good. Tennis is desperate.
It needs something.
It's desperate right now.
It needs something, and it doesn't just need fancy shirts. Yeah, let's take a break. Coming up, did the Sixers make a mockery of the NBA by allowing Joel Embiid to draw up a play?
And Kevin Pillar, not Millar, Pillar, made a great catch, but did a college kid make an even better one?
You know, patient zero in this is your girl. Who Monica Seles.
Yeah.
She's the one who started all this.
Baseball season is here at last, and the excitement continues all season long at DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Why wait until the end of the season to claim victory when you can win huge cash every day? Hurry to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code PARDON to play for free. You could win part of the $300 million in prizes being awarded this season. Enter PARDON for free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
It's time to whip out our dictionaries and show you what we've got in our vocabularies. Let's get the first one.
The Sixers are blank for letting Joel Embiid coach the team during the timeout.
The Sixers are rinky-dink. Joel Embiid is not a coach, nor is he a player. Like many Sixers, he's a high-round draft picked to never play until the end of time. The Philadelphia 76ers are a disgrace. They are amateur hour. They are corrosive to the NBA. They should be fined. They are not trying to win. If there were a living, breathing commissioner in the NBA, he would tell the 76ers, get out of the league. Get out. You're not even trying.
I say half as much about the Cleveland Browns, and you go crazy, almost defending them. The 76ers are investment savvy. I'm going the other way. Because Embiid is a guy they are investing in long term.
To do what?
It's working with Nerlens Noel, isn't it? You poo-pooed that.
Yeah, he's burning up the freeway.
Could be Rookie of the Year. He's in the top 3.
No, Wiggins is Rookie of the Year. Stop it.
He's in the top 3, Nerlens Noel.
So am I.
Now, Embiid is a guy. Wait, so this kid has some intellect. He's paying attention. He can rally players, and you think this is a bad thing?
Rinky-dink.
Investment savvy.
Rinky-dink. I would have said winky-dink, but nobody remembers that.
What's next?
Next.
Michael Jordan should feel blank about Lance Stephenson's record low three-point percentage.
He should feel bamboozled. This guy shot 17.1% for the season.
It's
and by
happened
the way,
before.
took 105 threes.
It's happened before.
Michael Jordan signed this guy to a 3-year, $27 million deal,
Yeah.
and he gets nothing. Now, last year in Indiana, he shot 35% for 3. So you know who's laughing now?
Who?
Frank Vogel and Larry Bird. Because they
Not Larry
probably
Bird, he
hated
wanted
this
him.
guy.
No.
Frank Vogel hated this guy, but he got something out of him. Michael Jordan's not getting anything out of him.
Michael should feel enraged. By the way, the last time this happened, the player who shot 17% from 3, I share 2 names with, Michael Ray.
Right, Michael Ray Richardson. And
yeah.
the ship
be sinking. Well, it'd be sinking in Charlotte from the weight, from the dead weight of Lance Stevenson.
Right.
Because they knew before Christmas, we talked about it on this show, everybody talked about it.
They tried to peddle him. Nobody wanted him.
Of course, they needed to get rid of him.
Well, nobody
the
took him.
Pacers were laughing because they wanted to get rid of him during the finals last year. They wanted to get rid of him. Did not work.
Boozled.
Did not work.
Next.
Enraged.
If Kevin Pillar made a great catch, then the kid from Evansville made a blank catch.
Kevin Pillar did make a great catch. He brings one back in Toronto, but he stays in the ballpark. Watch this kid from
But he's got to
Evansville.
stay in the
He
ballpark.
goes
The fence is like 12
He goes
feet.
out of the ballpark. The umpire has no idea if he actually caught the ball. He emerges holding the ball up, and he gives him the catch. This is a fantastic. So I would say first it was a greater catch, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go for what the Evansville people call themselves. This catch is aces.
Triple aces. Tony, this catch, the kid in Evansville made a propped catch. Not his fault. But the fence is like a prop. It's a height that you're going to go flying over. It's like being able to dunk on a Nerf hoop.
Look good.
And you dunk on whatever's there. You
Look
catch the
good.
ball. It does look good. But you've got this fence at that height essentially serving as a prop.
Are you downgrading?
No, I'm just saying he was helped. It looks more spectacular. What, you think the guy in Toronto, a professional outfielder, can't go flying over a fence if that one was 6 feet shorter?
He didn't. He stayed in the ballpark.
It's like that old Yankee stadium fence back in the old days.
Right, that's
With
very
Tommy
low. And you
Tresh
go
would go
flying,
flying over there.
Really? From
Like
shortstop?
He played
Really?
some outfield, didn't he? All shortstop?
Next!
What am I
Last
thinking
one,
about?
Jackson DeVille putting it on the island green at TPC from his knees with a driver is a blank achievement.
It's a legendary achievement. This guy is literally on his knees and wearing a fuzzy suit. And he gets it over the water and lands on the green. Look, I have played sawgrass.
What'd you get on there with? 8 iron?
Okay, I got 7 iron once, back to the green, and I held on. The next 2 times I played, I rinsed 3 and gave up. Because everybody rinses 3. Because that's what happened. This guy, and I was wearing shorts. This guy is wearing a fuzzy collar. This is a big deal.
Well, Tony,
I know you hate mascots.
the word here is sandbag. Because that's what he is. He's a sandbagger. He's a 2 handicap. He's a guy.
In that suit?
It doesn't. Okay, so he's a 5 handicap in the suit. How many strokes you want? He's a real golfer. Here's what happens now. Anytime you go to these tournaments, and particularly charity tournaments, this is fun. You have a guy who's like a long drive guy wearing something. You don't know who he is.
Right.
You have a guy who's a former pro. He played college golf. And
Is this guy not the official
This guy,
mascot?
if he didn't have on the mascot outfit, probably aces it. You get aces again.
Right.
He's a sandbagger.
And if I didn't have on this coat, I wouldn't have on this coat. He's wearing a fuzzy costume.
It's a 2 handicap.
That's it.
What are you talking about?
In a costume?
It's a 5.
I think we can all agree that my words were cornett.
Maybe a 7.
Let's take one last break.
Cornett.
Still to come. Are we to believe that the scoring title really doesn't mean bleep to Russell Westbrook?
Doesn't. And Robbie Cano makes a base running mistake that you don't see every day.
He's on his knees.
He's a 5. He's a 2.
He's on his knees.
Okay, so in a costume, he's a 5 to a 7. On his knees, he's a 10. He's just still hit the green.
So great.
Hey,
You think he goes around as a 10?
ESPN Radio, bringing you directly to the biggest events in sports.
Center field, well hit, Hunter back, out of here!
From opening day of baseball,
Throw to the plate, safe at the plate!
right through the World Series.
For the 3rd time in 5 seasons, the San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
Whether it's LeBron, Chris Paul, or Kevin Durant, when the NBA tips off, ESPN Radio is right there when a champion is crowned.
We have a new world champion. The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
And when the magic of bowl season arrives, ESPN Radio is your home for the new college football playoff.
The college football playoff first national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The biggest events in sports can be found right here on ESPN Radio.
Happy time, people. Happy 60th birthday, Bruce Bochy. The three-time World Series winner as manager of the San Francisco Giants has one of the biggest melons in the world. It's a 10-plus head. Yes, the Giants have started 3-7, but this is an odd year. It's the even years where they win the World Series.
Somebody has a 10-plus head.
10-plus.
8-plus. I'm a 7 5/8. What are you?
It's huge. I'm 6 7/8.
6 that's a peanut head.
Yeah, that's right.
What kind of head is that?
I don't have the ego that you do.
God.
Happy anniversary, Bill Belichick. On this day 15 years ago, you had the foresight to draft a lightly regarded quarterback from Michigan in the 6th round, the 199th pick. That quarterback was Tom Brady, and that day and this day turned out to be Bill Belichick's birthday. Happy 63rd.
I wonder where McShay and Kuiper were on that pick.
McShay was in grade school.
Oh.
No, come
that might have been a little early.
Kid.
All right.
Happy trails, Robinson Cano, the $300 million second baseman for the Mariners, was on third last night against the Dodgers. There's a man on second as well. And when the batter took ball 4, inexplicably, Cano began jogging home, thinking he was forced in. Hello? He was tagged out, essentially, for being an idiot.
He thought the bases were loaded.
Yes, but they weren't.
This is what we call a Boogie Cousins moment, isn't it?
Was not
Just
good.
sort of zone out?
Not good. I made one small error. It turns out Tommy Tresh did play a few games in the outfield.
How many?
Just 720.
Thank you. Thank you. I believe I had that.
He was Rookie of the Year.
I was like
as
6
a
years
shortstop.
old, and my memory is better than yours.
Rookie of the Year as shortstop.
Stop it.
Big finish. Here we go.
Let's do it.
The NFL officially reinstated Adrian Peterson as of tomorrow. Your thoughts?
I just wonder who's going to play for the Vikings again. To me, that's the next step in
Yeah.
this, Tony. Russell Westbrook says winning the scoring title meant bleep to him. That's an appropriate reaction, is it not?
I think it is, because he played his bleep off.
He did.
And they did not make the playoffs, so why should he be happy? What does he care about the scoring title? Carmelo Anthony wants Phil Jackson to, quote, get players, good players, unquote. Does that sound like a good plan to you?
That's as simplistic as you can make it.
Do you think Phil's not thinking of that?
Good players.
You think Phil hadn't thought of that, really?
Is in this. Your Capitals lose game 1 at home, 4-1 to the Islanders. Defend your team.
No, historically,
What happened?
Historically, he hadn't changed the culture.
Apparently
Historically, that's a bad move. You just lost home ice and you lost it early. That was bad. Last one. Former NHL series start tonight. Who you got?
Listen carefully. Rangers, Lightning, Blues, Ducks. I want to be on fire. I got Montreal and the Blackhawks in the finals. Remember that.
Time.
All right?
We'll try and do better the next time. I promise. I'm Tony
You
Kornheiser.
and Melrose both be advised. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. Check out the podcast on iTunes. Pelicans, I'm sorry. I'm one of the ones.
You got that
counted
wrong.
you out.
He did.
Had you counted out.
He hates you.
No, I don't. I counted you out, though.